How are you doing?
Very good.
I was born in Champagne 49 years ago, so I'm really a Champagne boy. I have a very, very hard job. My job is to travel all over the world, to drink champagne with nice people, to have good food in good restaurants. So I think it's one of, I wouldn't like to change my job for nothing. I think it's one of the best jobs to do. Tribaut is in the heart of Champagne, in the middle really of the Marne region. It's in between Reims and Épernay, the big cities of Champagne. It's from Reims, when you go on the way to Épernay on the right, just before going to Épernay, you have the famous abbey from Dompérignon in Haut-Villers, and Romery, the little village where the cellar is 3 kilometers from there. So it's really in the middle of Champagne, a little bit on the Montagne de Reims and nearby the Vallée de la Marne. So it's really located in the center. We have mostly the vineyards around the company in Romery, but also we have some family vineyards in some other places. Some are in Grand Cru, in Ailly, which is a very prestigious village in Champagne, in the Montagne de Reims. We have also some vineyards in Écueil with Premier Cru, and Cormoyeux, and some other little village around Romery, but mostly the family vineyards are around the house. Tribaut is a family company, and it was created by the grandfather of the winemaker of nowadays. So they always work with passion on their champagne, and they always work very much with the terroir. So we don't make champagne because it's a fashion, or we don't make this kind of cuvée because the market asks for that, but we make it because we have the production to make it, we have the vineyards to do it, and we try to have the best expression of our terroir. So we are really wine producers, we are not marketing sellers. And because of that, we need to have, of course, a Brut non vintage, which is the first product of the range and the most popular, the biggest sales. Then we have Brut Nature, because it's something very interesting, not to add any sugar in champagne, but we make it in a very special way with a lot of reserve wine. So that means inside the Brut Nature we have a blend of 3 different years, a little bit old, that we make the vinification in big oak barrels to keep a lot of fruit and a natural sweetness. So that's why we don't add any sugar, and we can make this Brut Nature. It's not a big part of the production, but it's quite interesting, especially here in Sweden. It's going very, very well to start the meal or to go with oysters or seafood. Then we have a Blanc de Blanc, a Chardonnay, who is very, very popular. We have a lot of medals on this product, and it's going very well all over the world. Then, of course, some years we have vintage, some years we don't do vintage. We only keep the best years to do vintage. Now we are starting to sell the 2007. We also have a Premier Cru, because we have a little part of our vineyards, as I said, who are in Grand Cru and Premier Cru, and we make a special blend of grapes only from this area to make a Premier Cru. The wines stay on lease minimum at Tribaut 3 years. By the law in Champagne, you have to keep them minimum 15 months. But at Tribaut, for the Brut non vintage, so the first wine of the range, we keep it at minimum 3 to 3.5 years on lease. Then after we make the disgorgement, and we take back the bottles in the cellar for a minimum of 6 to 9 months. That means we don't have any bottles leaving our cellars that is not minimum 4 years old in the bottle. That is the minimum, but for some other cuvées like Authentique, it's 10 years, René 6 years, the vintage is 5 years, so we are selling the wine when the wine is ready. And Sébastien Tribaut, who is now our winemaker, is paying a lot of attention about that. Sometimes we have a market who say, oh, we want some more Chardonnay because we don't have any more stock, and it's Christmas time, we have a lot of sales, and sometimes the wine is not ready, so sometimes we have to say, sorry, but you have to wait 3 months because the wine is not ready. So it's very important for us, especially to keep the wine after disgorgement before selling any bottle. We are not a lot of houses who use big oak barrels. So the barrels we use is not the small barrels like you have in Bordeaux or Burgundy. It's big, what we call foudre in French, is 60 hectoliters. And the grandfather of Sébastien was the first one to use them to keep the old reserve wine. So we don't make the vinification, it's more to keep the wine. And it's very old barrels, more than 100 years. So the interest is not to have a woody taste, we don't want that. But the interest of the wood and the old wood is when you want to keep some wine as a reserve wine to blend them after with some other wines in the barrels, in the wood barrels, then you keep a lot of freshness because of oxygenation, and the fruitness is staying longer. So many of our reserved wine are keeping in those big oak barrels. We have 6 of them, but Sébastien is going to buy some new ones. Of course, in the company we have a lot of stainless steel also with air control, and in Tribaut all the investment we make are not making in communication or promotion like big groups, but we make it for the quality. That's really our target, is quality, quality, quality. And we made a new investment this year, was ready for the harvest of a new part of the winery with 7 new big tanks and small tanks to make more, not to have more volume, but to make more specific vinification by terroir, then to be able after to blend more the wines coming from these grapes from this land and another grapes from another land, to be more respectful of the terroir. Sébastien is really a winemaker. He's 40 years old. He likes to be in his cellar, he likes to make his wine. He's passionate and he's a wine lover. And also his young brother, Valentin, who is only 22, is now working more and more with me on export. He's taking care of some markets more in Europe. And I'm sure the future is very much for these very personalized houses, family houses, who work with their heart more than with their money or financial power.